Hello! It's time for a Culture Hash review of the new Black Honey album, Black Honey. Black Honey are one of those indie bands that have been building a considerable amount of hype. We've been waiting 3 years for a full-length studio album from Black Honey, and in the meantime have had to make do with some well-regarded EPs. Black Honey's debut album covers an eclectic range of genres and substyles, but is primarily an indie power pop affair. The band's strongest influences probably are Blondie. This can be heard on the vocal style of frontwoman Izzy B. Phillips. On this album, Izzy employs a very much no shits given, B-movie, femme fatale, campy sort of persona here, and it really gives the band some energy and presence that makes their sound quite unique, despite them switching from various genres throughout the project. Black Honey also dips into electro and some disco sounds here. The vocals sometimes evoke PJ Harvey or Charlie XCX, especially when there's effects on the vocals, like the lead single Bad Friend. The vocals on Bad Friends are covered in effects to make Izzy's voice higher than it usually is on the rest of the project. She's got a strong attitude here of a sort of bad girl that's causing a lot of shit for people, and it just tells of a negative relationship. Very strong Charlie XCX vibes here, for sure. Naturally, during this 3-year wait for the debut album, Black Honey's EPs have been keeping the fans satisfied. And one of the things that I like about this debut album that not many groups that have a similar incubation period adhere to is that they haven't stuffed their debut album with songs that we've already heard. There are so many examples over the years of bands that have built a huge amount of hype and then just created debut albums full of songs that we've already heard. The 1975 did it, and this year Superorganism did it. I loved the Superorganism album, but I'd already heard a lot of the songs before, so I couldn't really enjoy it as much as if it was full of tracks that I'd never heard. By releasing a debut album of mostly new songs, Black Honey already elevate this project to a much higher level than expected. The album is paced really nicely. There are these shifts in genres, but it feels consistent, and there's nothing too jarring about the transitions between the tracks. This strong level of pacing is something that makes the album feel coherent. A good example of this strong pacing is the transition between Bad Friends and Blue Romance. Both are mid-tempo, electro-influenced tracks. Both of these songs have strong drum patterns and quite skeletal production, and are nestled neatly together on the track list, and makes for a very smooth transition between these two tracks in the early stages of the album. Following Blue Romance, Crowded City is a highlight of this album. It has more than a touch of disco influence on here. This disco tinge can be felt with the high-pitched falsetto vocals that hit during the pre-chorus. The chorus and lyrics on Crowded City are strong. Izzy tells a nice story here. The arrangement is wonderful and is nicely upbeat after a couple of mid-tempo tracks. Crowded City has a great hook, really energetic production. It feels really good as a single. If you could listen to one Black Honey track from this album, I certainly would recommend Crowded City. As a band, Black Honey certainly feel like they've developed in front of us here. This is certainly the best project I've heard from them. I was pleasantly surprised to hear how consistent each of the tracks are. They show that Black Honey are one of the most exciting bands to come out of the UK in a while, and I'm looking forward to hearing what they come out with next. Into My Nightmare is another strong track, co-written by Royal Blood's Mike Kerr. This track has a very Royal Blood-esque, marching, pulsing bass line that forms the skeleton of this instrumental arrangement. As you'd expect from a track with Royal Blood involvement, the lyrics concern a toxic relationship. I really like the chorus with Izzy singing about how crazy is as crazy does. Into the Nightmare is certainly a highlight of Black Honey. Overall, I really liked this Black Honey album. I feel like the band has got a lot of potential and they've realised a lot of the hype that has been put upon them by early adopters of the group. I look forward to hearing what they come up with in the future, but Black Honey as an album is very good. It's a great start from this young band, and I look forward to hearing where they go with their sound next. Therefore, I award Black Honey's self-titled debut 7 out of 10.